Trojans, the other side on the plain's high ground, formed around tall Hector, staunch Polydamas, Aeneas loved by the Trojans like a god, and Antenor's sons, Polybus, Prince Agenor, and Acamas, still unwed, 3 men in their prime like gods who never die. Hector bore his round shield in the forefront, blazing out like the dog star through the clouds, all withering fire, then plunging back in the cloud rack, massed and dark. So Hector ranged on, now flaring along the front, now shouting his orders back toward the rear, all of him armed in bronze, aflash like lightning flung by Father Zeus with his battle shield of thunder. And the men, like gangs of reapers slashing down the reaping rows and coming closer, closer across the field of a warlord rich in wheat or barley, swaths by the armfuls falling thick and fast. So Achaeans and Trojans closed and slashed, lunging into each other, and neither side now had a thought of flight that would have meant disaster. No, the pressure of combat locked them head to head, lunging like wolves, and strife with wild groans exulted to see them, glaring down at the melee, strife alone of immortals hovering over fighters. The other gods kept clear, at their royal ease, reclining off in the halls where the roofs of each were built for the ages high on rugged, rigid Olympus. And all were blaming Zeus with his storming dark clouds, because the Father decreed to hand the Trojans glory. But the Father paid no heed to them. Retiring peaks apart from the other gods, he sat aloof, glorying in his power, gazing out over the city walls of Troy and the warships of Achaea, the flash of bronze, fighters killing, fighters killed. As long as morning rose and the blessed day grew stronger, the weapons hurtled side to side and men kept falling. But just when the woodsman makes his morning meal deep in a mountain forest, arm-weary from chopping the big heavy trunks, and his heart has had enough, and sudden longing for tempting food overtakes the man and makes his senses whirl. Just at the height of morning, the Argives smashed battalions, their courage breaking through, and they shouted ranks of cohorts on along the lines. And right in the midst sprang Agamemnon first and killed a fighter, Bianor, veteran captain, and then his aide, Oileus, lashing on their team. Down from the car he leapt, squaring off, charging in full fury, full face, straight into Agamemnon's spearhead, ramming sharp. The rim of the bronze helmet could not hold it. Clean through heavy metal and bone the point burst, and the brains splattered all inside the casque. He battered Oileus down despite the Trojans' rage, and the Lord of Fighters left them lying there, both dead, and their chests gleamed like bronze as he stripped them bare. Then on he went for Isis, and Antiphus killed and stripped the 2 sons of Priam, one a bastard, one royal blood, and both riding a single car, the bastard driving. The famous Antiphus standing poised beside him. Achilles had caught them once on the spurs of Ida, bound them with willow ropes as they watched their flocks, and set them free for ransom. But now it was Agamemnon, lord of the far-flung kingdoms, catching up with Isis. He stabbed his chest with a spear above the nipple. Antiphus he hacked with a sword across the ear, and hurled him from his chariot, rushing fast to rip the splendid armor off their bodies. He knew them both. He'd seen them once by the ships when the swift Achilles dragged them in from Ida. Think how a lion, mauling the soft weak young of a running deer, clamped in his massive jaws, cracks their backbones with a snap. He stormed in, invading the lair to tear their tender hearts out. And the mother doe, even if she's close by, what can she do to save her fawns? She's helpless. Terrible trembling racks her body too, and suddenly off she bounds to the glades and the thick woods, drenched in sweat, leaping clear of the big cat's pounce. So not a single Trojan could save those two from death. They fled themselves before the Argive charge.